here. Our speaker today comes to us from the huge town of Bennett, Nebraska, standing at a whopping 5'1" and just a month shy of 30. When she's not coaching her team to success, she enjoys playing guitar, singing, crocheting, blogging, and cooking, but most of all being a #boy mom to her two littles, Marsh and Jax. While she first fell in love with marketing in high school, it wasn't until she began working at Transformation Marketing 5 years ago that she finally understood why. She said it once, and she'll say it again, folks, helping clients grow their business is not a job for her, but a passion. She gets to work with an amazing team while accomplishing her goals. Here to coach you to better understanding of Snapchat as a marketing tool, Lacy Jo Donald.
So what is Snapchat? It was joked around about very frequently when Snapchat first came out that it was maybe a tool to use for some maybe not so appropriate photos. People eventually found out that there is such a thing as screenshotting, so Snapchat has really evolved since then. So Snapchat, you can send photos or videos. It's 10 seconds top, so it's quick little snippets of information. And you can send them directly to somebody, and once you do that, they can watch it once, and it goes away. They can replay it once, so they can watch it up to 2 times, and it goes away. Or you can send it to your story, your My Story, and it'll last for about 24 hours, and then again, it goes away. And people can watch it as many times while it's on your My Story as they want to in that 24 hours. So the really neat thing about Snapchat is that you can take photos and send videos without taking up extra storage on your phone. So you can use that to communicate and not have to bog down your storage on your phone. The other great thing about Snapchat is it's a little bit more of a personal connection than just a regular text. And again, without taking more storage. You could send a photo through a text and say, cool, or take a picture of what you're trying to explain to somebody and send it, but again, it's going to take up storage. So this is a nice way to communicate, get a little bit extra touch, personal touch with that. So, for those of you who have never sent a snap, I'm going to go ahead and quick run you through what that looks like. So, if you have Snapchat, I'm going to ask you to play along with me here for a second. Go ahead and open Snapchat on your phone. Lori knows best practices. Above is a better angle. All right. So go ahead and flip the camera so you are taking a nice selfie. And say, Snapchat. Photobomb somebody. Okay, so you have your Snapchat up. We're going to run you through what some of these icons are. So if you tap anywhere on the screen, you'll be able to type a nice little message there. And if you tap this T up in that corner, you'll be able to change the style of the text. The little sticky note looking thing up there, that's stickers, and so you can add a nice sticker. And I've seen people do this before, so I'm going to do it. Put a little emoji over your face to show your mood. And then if you tap the little pin, you can choose your color, and you can draw on your snap. This down here is going to tell Snapchat how long you want that to be viewed before it goes away. Now, when you're setting this, keep in mind how much information someone's going to have to take in viewing this snap. If there's a lot of information on that snap, maybe you want it to last a little longer. If there's not a whole lot of information, you don't want it a full 10 seconds. You don't want people to get bored by the end of your Snapchat. You don't want them to tap the screen so they can skip it. You want to keep them engaged until the very end. It'll kind of keep that momentum and keep them wanting to come back for more instead of saying, man, they always make their snaps last so long, I always have to skip them. This right here, so if that selfie you just took you think is a prime selfie and you are looking fantastic, you can go ahead and save it to your My Memories by clicking that button there, and then from your memories you're able to save it to your phone. You can keep it forever. And this right here, you can add it to your My Story directly from your Snapchat, but you can also add it by clicking the blue button and then selecting your My Story as one of your contacts to send it to. So that's kind of just the basics of what you see on your screen. Now what you don't see on your screen is if you swipe back and forth here, you'll be able to, we've got some good Lincoln, Nebraska filters. So you'll be able to see the filters that are in your geolocation, and you can add those to your Snap. Using them is absolutely free. Now if you want to create a filter, we're going to talk about that a little bit later, and you do pay to do that. So after you are done with your Snapchat, like I said, you hit the little blue button over here, and you can send it to your My Story, you can download it to your memories, you can send it to any of your contacts. And a little bit later we'll talk about who maybe you should be sending your snaps to.
Can you post it on Instagram?
You can't, only if you download it and then post it to Instagram later. One more thing I want to show you is if you have your phone and you have Snapchat, so I'm going to turn my back to you for a second. If you touch your face, maybe, it'll put a little mask over your face and you can do fun little things. So I'm a dog. And I show you this because a really clever way to maybe use those face filters in your company would be to have a few employees, go ahead and do that, and then do a Who Wore It Best contest. So have your users vote by screenshotting who they thought wore the face best. And we'll talk a little bit later about engagement. Also on Snapchat, if you're swiping left or right, you can see people's My Stories, and you can view anybody you follow, you can view their My Stories. And then you can also swipe the other way, and you can see who's viewed your snaps that you've sent. You'll see a little arrow. If the arrow's filled in, that means they haven't viewed it yet. If the arrow is hollowed out on the inside, it's just an outline, that means they viewed it. If there's a star behind it, that means they screenshotted it. So you do know when people have screenshotted your Snapchats. All right, so we know what Snapchat is. We kind of know the ins and outs of the technical side of using it. Is it important? Well, obviously I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't, but we'll talk about how important it is. Snapchat is an $18 million social platform. It has 100 million daily active users, and that compares to Pinterest. And I don't know how much you guys know about social platforms, but Pinterest has been around quite a bit longer than Snapchat, so it kind of shows how much it's grown in that amount of time. Snapchat gets 6 billion videos viewed daily on their platform. YouTube has 4 billion videos viewed daily. Now, take into consideration that Snapchat, it's 10-second videos, so it's a lot quicker than what you would see on YouTube. But still, that's nothing to scoff at. 2 billion videos viewed daily over YouTube. Also, we decided to maybe try to take it to a local level and see how many people use Snapchat on a local level. And we did the best we could to estimate out how many we thought would use it just in Lincoln city limits. So we went to the 2010 census and we took the age group that is most likely to use Snapchat, and then we figured in the amount of social media users who say they use Snapchat, and with all that information, we decided that at least, at a very conservative number, 30,000 people just in the Lincoln city limits are using Snapchat. So, again, that's nothing to roll your eyes at. It's definitely a valid, important social platform. And if that's your demographic, it's definitely something to take a look at using. Okay, so now we've established that it's an important, valid social platform. What are some ways that you can creatively use it for your business? Before we get too far into this, we're going to go over 7 different ideas today on how to use that creatively for your business. But before we do that, I want to make sure that you guys understand this is just like any other social platform. It needs a strategy. You cannot just go at this thinking, oh, well, we'll just snap here and there, it'll be fun. It'll fall flat, you'll stop doing it after a couple weeks, and it'll be a disaster and a waste of time. You have to have a plan, you have to have a strategy. Get some key people in a room and come up with some creative ideas. And like I said, we'll go over some creative ideas today on what you can do. The other thing to keep in mind is this is not a platform that you'll be able to approve before things go out. It's an instant thing. So if you really want to do this, you're going to have to find somebody to do this for your company that you trust to represent your company well, because they're going to send it right when they take it. And so if you're not trusting of the person that's sending that out, it may be time to look at somebody else to do that for you. The other thing is you're going to have to trust them to have fun with it, because if you're not having fun, if you're not doing creative things, again, it's going to be a waste of time. It's going to fall flat. You're going to say, why isn't this Snapchat working? That Lacy chick was crazy. She didn't know what she was talking about. Well, you have to make sure you're having fun with it and engaging your users. So the first way you can do this is by promoting specials or sales. Now, Taco Bell, I'm just going to tell you now, phenomenal example of how to use Snapchat. They do a great job engaging their users. On this particular occasion, this gal was out on the streets and she would give somebody a menu item and they would have to tell her if it was on their dollar menu or if it was not on their dollar menu. And so if they got it right, they would get a little something to reward them. So this is genius, because not only is she promoting their special, but she's also getting people to memorize their product. That's genius. So again, this is one way to do it. Another way to promote a special or sale that would be very successful would be to make sure you're giving that special only to your Snapchat users and let them know that. Let them know that they're getting an exclusive offer just because they're your Snapchat followers. That gets them excited that they're getting the inside scoop, and it'll keep them coming back for more. And although specials and sales are a great way to keep people engaged, it's not the only thing you want to be doing. You don't want to discount your products and services all the time. So another great way to do this is give them behind-the-scenes scoops into your company. This particular snap is from the New Orleans Saints. I am a Saints fan, don't judge me. And they are giving exclusive interviews with their NFL players. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that not a lot of you have famous people working for you. And that's okay. You can still give behind-the-scenes peeks into your company. If you do have famous people working for you, definitely get them on Snapchat, though. So if you have a product that you make within your store, give people a little insight to the care and the quality that goes into making that product. The cool thing about Snapchat is you've got 10 seconds. You're not going to give away all your secrets in 10 seconds. They're not going to be able to steal your secrets and go make it themselves. So it's a nice way to show the care and the time you put into making each product for them without giving away the cow, I guess, so to speak. Show off your services. If you provide a service for your clients, give them a little peek into what they'll be getting if they hire you. Pre-event build-up and backstage at an event. Now, I'm not going to go too far into this right now because we're going to talk a little bit more about events later, but this is a nice way to create build-up for the event. When you announce the speaker, when you are decorating for the event, get them excited before the event even starts. It'll help increase ticket sales and it will help you create that buzz. Internal shenanigans or discussions. This is just, again, a fun way to get people involved in your Snapchat and get them engaged in your Snapchat. If you have a luncheon going on within your company, if you guys are having a fun discussion within your company, or if a couple of your employees are doing something a little fun and crazy that day. Get that on Snapchat. It makes you personable. It makes people understand not only what you do as a company, but who you are as a company, because those employees within your walls, they're creating your culture. And I'm sure I've said this before, but people do not do business with business. People do business with people. So creating that relation, creating that trust and connection will really help to engage your users and keep them excited about your brand. Show off a product. Again, with Taco Bell, like I said, they do some really great stuff. What they're doing here is just fantastic, in my opinion. They're using cool, fun lingo. They're not using a corporate stuffy image of their product. They're using something that anybody could have shot, so that it's hey, we're one of you, we're having fun, we're here, and we're just one of you doing the Snapchat thing. So keeping it fun, using some fun lingo, and do keep in mind that your company may or may not be a company that should use cool and trendy lingo. If it doesn't represent your brand well, maybe not quite so much a right fit for you, but that doesn't mean you can't still make it fun and interesting. I keep coming up with this idea of scissors. I don't know why. If you sell scissors, don't just take a picture of the scissors. Take a picture of somebody using the scissors. This shouldn't be something you'd find in a catalog. This should be something that would engage users to go out and buy those scissors. You're not selling the product, you're showing it off. You're making it exciting and fun. Event coverage. Grubhub is another kind of bigger brand that uses Snapchat, and here they're showing off some food that they're having at their event. The neat thing about Snapchat during events is if you have a reoccurring event, show off what's going on at that event, show people what they're missing out on, so that way the next time it comes around, they're like, man, I saw that on Snapchat last time and I'm not missing it again. Give them behind the scenes from the event and let people know at the event that you're giving them behind the scenes. You keep them engaged in the event as it's going on, you're giving them an inside peek to what's happening behind the scenes, and you're capturing them so that after the event, you'll still be able to have them watching your Snapchats. Live from the event. So if you're giving away an award, or if you're recognizing somebody, it's a great way to recognize that someone on an even larger level. Give them a little bit more recognition by showing that off on your Snapchat. Now, events aren't just big, large banquet type things. Events can be trade shows and fairs. Anything that took planning that people are coming to would be considered an event. So if you're at a trade show, maybe you're setting up for the trade show, again, leading up to it, get people excited to come out and see you. Maybe it's your first day at the trade show and you didn't have a great day. Snapchat from the trade show that day and say, hey, we hope you're coming out tomorrow. We've got some great things going on. If you're going to do a giveaway at a county fair, let people know, hey, come out now to Thursday and we'll be giving something away on Friday. Those are the types of things that you can really work on your Snapchat to get people excited about events that you have going on. Get them involved. So we talked a little at the beginning about the Who Wore It Best contest. And this is not a Who Wore It Best contest, but it shows off what I'm talking about exactly. So you have that first screen where it tells you what you're going to be doing, and then it follows with the rest of the screens. So I used this example from Wet Seal for two reasons. One, again, it showed off my point beautifully. And two, the rest of the shots after this, the rest of the snaps after this were of lingerie, and I didn't feel like that would be incredibly appropriate for today. So, but the point is they're asking people to engage. They're saying, hey, here are our products. What do you like? They're getting feedback from their fans, and that's huge. People love to feel valued. They love to feel like their opinion's being taken into consideration. So get feedback through your viewers from Snapchat. Ask them to screenshot. Ask them to send you snaps. Ask them to let you know what they think of your product after they've purchased it. Another great thing would be to run a promotion in your store and ask them to take a snap in your store and share it to their My Story. And if they do that and show you at checkout, they'll get a discount on their purchase that day. That's helping you get them to promote your company. So you're not saying, hey, we're a great company. They're now saying that you're a great company. And their word's going to go a lot further because, of course, you think you're a great company. It's your company. Filters. Now, we talked a little bit about using filters earlier. Now we're going to talk a little bit about creating filters. This is something that we're very excited about in our company. We just had the opportunity to do this for Papa John's. Papa John's, we created a fantasy football platform for them, the local Papa John's in Lincoln and Omaha. And this is our second year, and we really wanted to promote it this year. So we decided one way we were going to do that is through Snapchat and through a filter. And we got some pretty amazing results. When you create a filter, you target a specific area, and the larger the area and the longer you have the Snapchat filter running, the more costly it gets, and it can get pretty costly pretty quickly. So our strategy here was we hit campus, and we hit some dorms, we hit the student union, we hit some off-campus apartments, and we really hit smaller areas where a lot of people were going to be. So that kept our costs down. We ran this for 2 weeks. We got some great analytical data. If you use Snapchat filter, they do have some pretty good analytic data. The Snapchat in general, we'll talk about this in just a minute, they don't have super awesome analytics yet, so the filters are a lot better than the regular snaps. And this was just kind of a fun and interactive way to get people using the Papa John's Fantasy Football brand. So Papa John's had a $2,000 budget, and that included design, implementation, and the ad budget. They ended up getting 720 uses, which then reached 6,459 people. So again, this is them promoting the brand for us. So 720 people sent it out to a total of 6,459 of their friends. So that's a huge reach that we got with that, and we're very excited about the results. We ended up having 400, and obviously this isn't the only thing we did, but we ended up having 450 new signups for Papa John's Fantasy Football this year. So it's very exciting to get to see those results through Snapchat and through the other platforms we used. Memories. I'm not going to dig too deep on this today because we did just put out a blog on this, so you can go ahead and go to our website and check out our blog on this. And while you're there, you can also go ahead and sign up for our newsletter. We do send out weekly newsletters, kind of keeping people up to date on marketing trends and marketing, new things in marketing like memories. Instagram just came out with a new feature not too long ago, so those types of things. What is exciting for us in Memories for Snapchat is that we are finally able to truly help our clients use Snapchat besides filters. It's a way that agencies are now able to help build those custom graphics and have them uploaded to Snapchat. It's a way that we can take a picture and then later upload it. Before Memories, what needed to happen with Snapchat is you'd have to take it and then it would have to be sent right at that moment. So to make that happen for our clients would be us driving to our clients on a regular basis and taking a picture, coming up with that strategy, and it's just not very time or cost effective. But with this, we're able to take photos and then send them out over time instead of having to do it right then and there. When you share a memory, it does have a white border around it, so people do know that it wasn't shot right at that moment, but it is still allowing us to do a little bit more with that. The other neat thing is that you can take a snap, download it to your memories, and then share it over again. And so if you have something that you do on a regular basis, you can keep sharing that snap. Now you don't want to share it too often because then it gets stale, but you can share it over time. Going back to events, if you have an event, you can take a snap of that event, download it to your memories. Next time that event's coming up, you can share it and say, hey, remember this last event? Don't forget to sign up for this new one coming up. So now we're going to talk a little bit about best practices because we have these fun and exciting ideas, but that doesn't mean we're going to do it correctly. So Stories. Where do you send your snap after you take it? Do you send it directly to somebody, or do you send it to your My Story? Please, for the love of everything, send it to your My Story. If you're sending it directly to people, you're force-feeding them. Nobody wants to be force-fed. So the fastest way to lose your followers is to send your snaps directly to them. Send it to your My Story and use the ideas we just talked about, and that way you'll keep people coming back for more. They'll get excited to watch your snaps and they'll choose to. I did put a little disclaimer in here, unless you're responding directly to them. If somebody does Snapchat you directly, do respond, absolutely. Keep that conversation going with them. Do ask users to engage, but do not expect an immediate response. Maybe the way you asked them to engage was a little bit too complicated. Maybe try simplifying it. Maybe the way you asked them to engage just wasn't the way they would engage. So maybe just tweak what you asked them to do and try again. It's just a matter of trying and seeing what works and then trying again. So don't give up if it doesn't work the first time. It doesn't mean it didn't work, it just means you maybe need to tweak your process a little bit. Filters. Do ask an agency to assist you with your Snapchat filter. For the love of everything, please do not try to design things on your own unless you are a designer or have a designer in-house. Then more power to you. But if you're not a designer, please don't send things from your company that don't represent your brand well. We've seen it too many times, and you really want to be putting your best foot forward. You want people to take you seriously, so you need to take your design seriously. The other thing to keep in mind is if you don't put out a snap filter that people want to share, you've just wasted your budget, because you don't get charged by use, you don't get charged by view, you get charged by the area and the length of time that it's out there. So you just wasted your entire Snapchat budget if you sent out something that people aren't going to want to use. One more thing on this before I move on. Snapchat has a ton of rules and regulations on what you can and cannot do with Snapchat filters. It took us 2 tries to get the Papa John's Snapchat filter approved, and we read those things in and out before we submitted it. So it does take a lot of thought and you have to get a little bit creative because there's a lot of things you can't put on there. So just saving yourself the time of submitting and then redesigning and then submitting and redesigning. Have somebody help you that knows those ins and outs of the Snapchat filters. Analytics. Do check your Snap's analytics before they disappear. Do not forget, because they do go away. After 24 hours, when your Snapchat goes away, those analytics disappear along with it. So after you send a snap, set yourself a reminder for 23 hours later to make sure that you go grab those analytics, because analytics are incredibly important. It's hard to gauge who's coming in your door and where they came from, because as we all know, the front desk staff maybe forgot to ask, or maybe they couldn't think of where they heard of you right off the top of their head, so they made something up, or whatever it is. You can't always rely on that for good data. So getting the analytic data where you can get it is very key to making sure you know what is working successfully in your marketing campaign and maybe what needs to be tweaked. Plus, the other part is you know what snaps are working and you know what snaps are not working. So if a Snapchat that you sent out totally flopped, maybe it was the time of day, maybe it was just the type of snap that you sent. Just keep those things in mind to make sure you're reevaluating on a regular basis your strategy behind your Snapchat. Up here you'll see the little eyeball, and you'll be able to see how many people viewed your snap, and then you'll see the little star there, and that's how many people screenshotted your snap. And then it'll list who viewed it and then who screenshotted it. And then you'll also see the trash can up there. Say you're running a 2-hour promotion or something where you don't want it up for 24 hours, you can go ahead and delete that snap after it's been up for a little while to not have it up that full 24 hours if you don't want to. And then you can also download your snap if you send it to your My Story after you've sent it by using that little arrow up in that corner. Frequency. Do snap on a regular basis. Do not over snap. I put 5 up here. That's not a hard and fast rule, but it is just a good rule of thumb to think. is what I'm pushing out right now relevant? Is it actually relevant to the people who are going to see it? Do they care? If the answer is no, you probably shouldn't send it. Now, if the answer is no a lot, and you're sending snaps less frequently and less frequently, you didn't come up with a strong enough strategy. So go back to the drawing board, come up with a new strategy, and start to think about how you can start pushing that content on a regular basis. Increasing your fan base. Obviously, this is important. Do let people know that you have a Snapchat account and where they can find you on your Snapchat account. Do not think that you will just miraculously get all these fans on Snapchat if you don't tell people that you have it and where to find you. Some good ways to do this is you can push it out on your current social platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let people know, again, that you have Snapchat and what your username is, because that's the best way to have them find you. You can promote it from within your store, get a little table tent, get a little sign, let people know, again, we have it, here's where to find us. Have your employees push it out for you. Have your employees send it to their My Story saying, hey, check out the company I work for, here's where you can find us. And the other thing is, and this gets a little sticky because I'm going to kind of contradict myself a little bit here, push it out in current advertising if you have the time and space. So if you're running a commercial and you have time within that 30-second or 60-second commercial, go ahead and put in there Snapchat username if you have the time and space within that ad. If you have time or space within a print ad, so space, not time, but if you have space within a print ad that you can add it and make it still breathe, great, you can add it to that. If the ad is already a little tight, probably not a good idea. You can push it out other ways. So that was a quick, down and dirty run through of Snapchat, how to use it, and some different ideas on using it. I'm here for questions. Go ahead. Yes.
I have a couple for you.
Yes.
First of all, what is My Story?
My Story.
I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. When you open Snapchat, you get the screen that has the camera on it, and if you swipe, it shows you any stories that people have added. So anybody can, you don't send it directly to them, it just shows up on their feed. And so then you can watch anybody's My Story.
And then how long does it?
24 hours. Yep. And you can watch it as many times as you want within that 24 hours.
And then, so my business is a small business on my own.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to settle this up, am I better to make my username my personal name, or am I better to tie it to the business name?
Tie it to the business name. Yep. Unless you're going to be using it for personal use, and then, yeah.
Can you have more than one account?
Yes. Yes.
And it's easy to switch between them?
It's not as easy as Instagram yet. Hopefully they'll make it more easy at some point. But no, you have to log out and log back in every time you want to switch accounts. And then it'll automatically put your default time to 3 seconds every time that you switch accounts. It's kind of annoying. Yeah. So you have to remember to set that time again.